My boss fired me for getting cancer, so I made sure he got a permanent sick day. I loved my job. I was a senior account manager at a bustling marketing agency, a place I'd poured 5 years of my life into. I was good at it too, consistently exceeding target, building strong client relationships. Then came the diagnosis, stage 2, lymphoma. It was a gut punch, but I was determined to fight. I told my boss, Mr. Sterling, a man whose ambition was only matched by his lack of empathy. He gave me a sympathetic nod, offered empty words of encouragement. 2 weeks later, I got the call. Due to unforeseen circumstances and a restructuring of our team, his HR puppet recited, "Your position has been eliminated." It was a lie. They fired me because I was sick, because I was no longer a perfect, profitable cog in his corporate machine. They thought I'd be too weak, too distracted, too consumed by my illness to fight back. They were wrong. The treatment was grueling, but during the long, sleepless night, a new kind of energy pulsed through me, the desire for justice. Sterling had a public persona as a philanthropic leader, a pillar of the community. He chaired charity galas, spoke at business ethics seminars, and loved to be quoted in local newspapers about his employee-first philosophy. It was all a meticulously crafted lie. I started my own investigation. I reached out to former colleagues discreetly. I looked through online forums for disgruntled ex-employees. It didn't take long to find a pattern. Sterling had a history of dismissing employees for performance issues, right after they disclosed health problems, family emergencies, or other personal challenges that might briefly impact their productivity. He was a master of plausible deniability, always finding a loophole. But I found his real Achilles heel, his lavish lifestyle and his secret investment. He had a passion for classic cars, collecting them at exorbitant prices, and he had a particular obsession with a rare vintage Ferrari that was due to go up for auction. He spoke about it constantly to anyone who would listen, bragging about how it would be the crown jewel of his collection. I found out he was funneling agency profits into a shell company to acquire these cars, skirting corporate regulations and possibly tax law. It was a complex web, but during my chemotherapy sessions, I had plenty of time to unravel it. I consulted with a former forensic accountant friend who helped me connect the dots. The paper trail was faint, but it was there, hidden in plain sight within the agency's public financial disclosures and his personal expenditure. My revenge would be simple, elegant, and entirely legal. It wouldn't involve public shaming or direct confrontation. It would be a slow, quiet lead. I compiled all the evidence, internal memo, blurred photos of the cars being delivered to a discreet warehouse he owned, an anonymous tip to a financial journalist about a high-profile CEO with questionable asset acquisition practices, and a detailed breakdown of the financial discrepancy. I timed my move to coincide with the Ferrari auction. The day of the auction, Mr. Sterling was there, front and center, a smug grin on his face, bidding fiercely. The financial journalist I'd tipped off was also there, inconspicuous, observing. My anonymous tip had been enough to pique their interest. As the bidding reached its peak, just before the hammer fell on the Ferrari, the journalist made a phone call. Moments later, a flash of news broke across major financial wires. Investigation launched into agency name, CEO's alleged misuse of company funds for personal asset. The news spread like wildfire. The auction house suddenly paused the bidding. Sterling's phone started buzzing uncontrollably. He turned pale, his face a mask of disbelief and fury. He didn't get the Ferrari. The agency's stock plummeted. Investors began pulling out. Within days, the board launched an internal investigation. The detailed information I'd provided made it impossible for him to deny the charges. He tried to blame it on a misunderstanding, on administrative errors, but the evidence was overwhelming. He was forced to resign to pursue other opportunities, a phrase that barely masked a scandal. His reputation was ruined, his lavish lifestyle threatened by impending lawsuit. He lost his corporate jet, his expensive cars, his influence. He became a ghost in the business community. I, on the other hand, went into remission. I started my own consulting firm, focusing on ethical business practices. I made sure to hire people who were truly valued, regardless of their circumstances. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't about shouting from the rooftops. It's about quietly setting a match to the foundation of their carefully built world and watching it burn. And the best part, he still doesn't know who lit the fire. He probably thinks it was just unforeseen circumstances.